Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Zulfeh-Vlog. So in this one, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to show you how I'm starting a business from scratch, and hopefully you'll find value in it for yourself if you're thinking about starting a business or thinking about changing career or whatnot and you're not quite sure how to do it. This hopefully should be helpful for you. This is obviously going to be an ongoing process because my plan is to document the process of what I'm going through. In the next few videos, I'll talk more about what I'm currently doing, but before you can get to that stage, you've got to do the planning stage. Now, this is the stage most people fail, suck, just don't want to do, and I was one of them as well, which is why I fail with so many business models. It's because you don't put the plan in place first. So you've got to have some kind of a business plan. It doesn't have to be a formal business plan, even though I do now have a formal business plan, but there has to be some kind of plan. And when you're changing career or changing direction, it's important to have this plan in place, because without it, it becomes that bit more difficult to achieve what you want to achieve. So as part of the plan, or the first step in starting a business or starting something new, I would always recommend this, which is to undo the conditioning and programming that you previously have. Because when you start a business, when you become an entrepreneur, whatnot, you have to change. It's more a personal development journey than it is a business journey. So you can't be the same person that you were. You can't have the same beliefs, the same mental models. You have to change. But before you can do that, you have to undo all of the programming. And this is something that I've struggled with. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is a process that will take years, maybe even decades, depending on how deep the programming is, and depending on your own history and whatnot. So my first programming was school, college, university, and then obviously the normal corporate 9-to-5 kind of thing, which is you get told what to do, you do it, you get feedback, and there's not really much room for error or failure, because if there is any downs, there's people there to guide you and get through it. And then the other programming is become an entrepreneur, become a millionaire, and yada yada yada, and that's just a different form of programming. So the first thing is you got to undo all of that programming. You've got to basically have a clean slate and a clean mind, because otherwise you're gonna get in your own way. And I have been the biggest obstacle in my own journey, stuck in my head, stuck with the thoughts of maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that, not to do this, not to do that, or what will people think, yada yada yada, all of that kind of stuff. That's gonna hold you back. So it's important to first and foremost have this clean slate, undo the programming, and then redo it with visualizations. And this is the important part in helping you with that reprogramming. You now need to visualize the future that you want. And I don't want to turn this into one of them law of attraction visualization kind of things, but it is important. And some of the important questions that you need to ask yourself, and these are the questions that I ask myself, it includes who do you want to become, what is the ideal vision that you have for yourself, and most importantly, what kind of life do you want to live. So with the corporate 9-to-5, I went through that process, and I got to know what kind of life I don't want to live. And I wasn't happy with the person that I was, miserable, depressed, and that kind of thing. And even then, when I moved into entrepreneurship, I experienced that, and I found that I didn't like that either, because now I'm working more hours and more stressed and more anxious and whatnot. So you've got to nail this down first, because only you know what kind of life you want to live. Only you know what's important to you. Only you know how you want to spend your days. And your dreams, they need to be yours. They don't need to be big, they just need to be yours. So everybody's telling you to be dream big and do this and do that. And that's somebody else's dream. It might not be yours. So for me, what kind of life do I want to live? It's pretty simple. I need flexibility more than anything else, and the reason why I need flexibility is so that I can spend more time with my family, more time praying and being spiritual and going to the gym and reading books and that kind of thing. And you know, most of these things, they don't require a lot of money, so it's really pointless spending all day working trying to become a millionaire and not do the things that I want to do, when doing those things that I want to do don't even require that much money. So you know, this is what you need to figure out first. How do you want to spend your days? What kind of character traits do you want to develop? Like, you know, I wanted to be more confident and courageous. You know, I want to be more charitable and that kind of thing. So these are the questions that you need to ask yourself, figure out, answer, and then the final question is, once you figure that out, is how much do you actually need to make that happen? So you know, everybody's like, I need to become a millionaire, I need to have a 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure, whatever kind of figure business. But the truth is, do you really need that much? If you figured out what kind of life you want to live, it becomes easier to figure out how much you actually need. And you know, the average salary they say in the UK is something like £35,000, and even if you look at the average take-home pay of the business owner, it's not millions. I think the average is something like $60,000, so it's not that much of a difference looking at the average. So you know, you need to figure how much you actually need. Now, I'm not going to tell you what my figure is because that's personal, but just for argument's sake, or just for an example, let's use the figure everybody likes to use, and that's the 10 grand a month mark. So everybody wants to make 10 grand a month, and if that's enough for you, obviously the first thing you need to do is budget. How much are your expenses really? How much are you spending on essentials like bills and whatnot? And then how much extra do you need for the luxuries, because obviously you don't want to live a completely boring, strict, disciplined life. You do want to have fun, you do want to have a good time and provide for your family and stuff like that. So once you got that figure in mind, you're going to realize it's not that much. Obviously it depends on where you live and what your lifestyle is like, but 10 grand a month is way more than enough. Even 5 grand a month for most people is way more than enough. And obviously if the average salary is 35 grand, then even 3 grand a month is more than enough. Now, most people would rather make 3 grand a month doing less hours that they're doing than becoming a millionaire and working 16-17 hours a day. Now obviously people are going to be like, oh, you're not thinking big enough, you know, that's not success. Sack all of that crap. This is the programming that I'm talking about. You've got to do what's best for you, and if it's 3 grand a month working less hours, brilliant, go for it. But you know, let's stick to the 10 grand a month mark. So once you know how much you want to make a month, then you got to break it down from there. So 10 grand a month, what does that mean? That means you need to make 2.5 grand a week. And you know, if you only want to work 4 days a week, then that's £625 a day. If you only want to work 5 hours a day, and then that breaks down further to £125 a day. So now you've broken it down, you need to make £125 an hour. So if you need to make £625 a day, you need to make £125 per hour if you want to work 5 hours a day. So how could you do that? Well, you could offer consultation calls for £125 an hour and offer that to 5 different people every day. That's just an example of how to break it down. So you know, 10 grand a month is too vague a figure. So if you break it down like this, it becomes easier to digest and it becomes easier for you to understand what you've got to do. Now, the other way you could break that down is if you need to make 10 grand a month, you could offer a service for £1,000, in which case you need to get 10 clients a month to hit that 10 grand mark. Or you know, if you only want to have 5 clients a month, then you need to offer a service for 2 grand a month. Or if you want to have a service which is 5 grand a month, then you only need 2 clients a month, etc, and going on like that. So personally, I'm trying to build a coaching program that's going to be hopefully around the 5 grand a month mark, in which case I'll need 2 clients a month to hit that 10 grand figure. But it's going to take a while to get to 5 grand per program. So you know, it's probably going to start off with more around about 2-3 grand. I haven't quite settled on that figure, but just for argument's sake, say the coaching program is going to be $2,000 a month, then if I want to hit the $10,000 a month mark, I need to get 5 clients every month. And that's just the start, that's just the basis. So like I said, this is the business plan. You need to figure out first how you want to live, what kind of life you want to live, and how much you actually need to make that happen. In the next video, I'll break down more about how you can go about setting it up in terms of who your clients are going to be, who you want to help, etc. Because that's going to involve a lot of research, and it's more research that you have to do. Most people don't do this research, which is why they fail. But the other thing that's going to help you is to then list down all of your skills and experiences. So many people are like, I don't know what to do, I don't know, whether I've got the qualifications and etc. And even I felt like that, like, I've got a law degree, I became a lawyer, and at one point I thought, well, I can't do anything else, this must be the only thing that I can do. But when you do this exercise of writing these things down, it becomes so much easier. So the list that you want to make is list down every single skill that you have. It doesn't matter how small or big it is, just list it down. List down every single experience you've had, whether it's from school, college, work, out of work, whatever the experience is, write it down. And also write down all of your interests and hobbies, like what you're interested in, what you're not. Like for me, I'm interested in spirituality and mysticism and that kind of thing. So the corporate world was really, really boring for me, which is why I hated it, because my interests were not in any of those things. It was in the mystical side of things. And some of my weaknesses were the fear of speaking, which I've talked about many times. So even if you list down what your struggles are, what your challenges are, that's important as well, because then you know what you need to improve upon. And some of my experiences, like I was head boy at high school, I was in senior management positions in the law firms that I worked for. I had my own law firm at one point, so there's a lot of leadership experience there which can easily be transferred into a coaching consulting type of role. And this is how you need to look at it. You need to make these lists and then see what could those skills be transferred into, which is then going to help you decide what kind of business model you want, and how you're going to deliver the service. So obviously you can have a product, a physical product, or you can have a digital product, or you could have a service. I'm more of a service-based guy, so I'm going to be offering some kind of, well, not some kind of service, I know what the service is, but I'll discuss that in the next video. But I'm going to be offering a consulting, coaching type of service to help people on a one-on-one basis, using my skills, experiences, and interests to make that happen. And it's going to be in line with the ideal vision that I have for myself and the life that I want to live. So that's the first step. Once you've done that, then you can move on to the next step, which I'll discuss in the next video, which is who you want to help, how you're going to help them, why you want to help them, and that will set the basis for your business. And then you can go from there to build it out, and I'll basically discuss how I did it, and then maybe you can follow or find a better way to do it if my way doesn't seem so good. Hope you found value. If you did, let me know in the comments. If you didn't, let me know so I can improve on this video. Until the next video, take care now. Bye bye.